Hello everybody, well welcome, I'm David, this is Jacob, this is Balls and Bros. Today we're doing our first Why Are They So Good episode. Today we're going to be talking about the Detroit Pistons and why they are doing as good as they are doing. First thing I want to talk about is their history. Jake, they haven't been good in a while. Since the early 2000s, they haven't, for about a decade really, that they haven't sustained any type of attack at the playoffs year after year like other teams may have. And part of that might be coaching, missing players that they, or rather missing pieces that they were never able to fill in. This year, however, they're doing a lot better, but they're so inexperienced this year. They have, out of their 15-man roster, they have 4 people with 5 years or more experience. That's with 2 guys with 4 years, 1 guy with 3, and everybody else with 2, 1, or they're just rookies. Now, not to say this is a bad thing, however, it is usually not the best thing for an entire team to be made out of such young players with hardly any experienced veterans to hold the team together. They're, I believe, the 8th seed in the Eastern Conference, which isn't the greatest. They're the 8th, the last place in the playoffs. However, they are Detroit, and that's not something that we're used to seeing in past years. Last year they were 32-50, which is terrible. The year before that they were 29-53. The year before that they were again 29-53. So they've gone through some really rough times. They haven't been good in a while, but over the past couple of years, being this year and last year, they've made some changes, particularly Stan Van Gundy being hired as a coach last year. While he is an excellent coach, last year they didn't do quite as well. They may have just taken a while for it to finally take effect, because this year they are making the playoffs, and he's doing a great job of coaching all the young players that they have. And this year they traded for Tobias Harris from Orlando, and that brought even more of an all-star caliber player really into the team. And overall their motivation is starting to pick up a little bit. Like you can see it in their eyes, and Jacob's going to talk about why is it with the history of the Detroit Pistons and the inexperience right now of the Detroit Pistons, why are they doing as well as they are doing, and why are they in the playoffs right now?
So Stan Van Gundy is, like you said, he is a great coach, and he's instituted something into that locker room that has been infectious. It's spread throughout the entire locker room. Everyone is feeling it. Andre Drummond, I mean, if you look at his numbers, 16 points, 14 rebounds per game. He is dominating. At the midway point, he was averaging 22 points and 24 rebounds per game. I mean, that's dominant. That is all-star. And if he kept that up, I mean, that's like Hall of Fame numbers. And like you said, that team's so young. And I really think that's a good sign for the Detroit Pistons, because they're so young and they're doing well. So that's only showing you in the future how much better they can get. Reggie Jackson, who they signed to a 5-year, $80 million deal, he's averaging 18.6 assists, and he is being their true leader in scoring with Andre Drummond, and he's doing a great job. The other 3, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, Stanley Johnson, and Marcus Morris, they're all dominating each. 14 points a game, 14 points a game, and 8 points a game. Stan Van Gundy is also a really smart coach. He's one of the smartest coaches in the league, unlike his brother. What he did, I mean, he brought in Tobias Harris, like you said, all-star caliber player. I don't know if I would say that, but he is a very good player. Tobias Harris has the ability to be really anybody in the league, 6-man, because he's a true scorer, a bigger body guy, and Van Gundy was really smart for trading for him. They've also gathered some depth, getting second, 3-tier players from other teams and bringing them on the Pistons for somewhat of a veteran presence. And even though they're young, I mean, they have experience in the league to show these younger players, like Steve Blake and Aaron Baines and Reggie Bullock. But I love what the Pistons are doing, because I like to see when a bad franchise is being churned around each game and progressing. And I really think the Pistons are going to do great things in the future. They might even make a run in the playoffs. They won't win a series, but they might be able to catch a game or two on the Cavaliers in the first round.
But in the future, they may begin to be a threat to every team in the league.
Yeah, in the future they'll definitely be a threat moving forward, maybe even as close as next year. Because if they get another player, I mean, that's just adding. Their starting five right now is very good, very young, and they have Tobias Harris, so if you bring in another piece, that will be a pretty good rotation. Then they're not just going to look at the starting five and one backup, they're going to actually start looking at rotations.
And that's why the Detroit Pistons are so good. And that's why everybody in the NBA needs to look out for the Detroit Pistons next year and the years to come. And if you have any questions about the NBA, about the Detroit Pistons, about any team or any sports-related questions, you can leave it in the comment section. This has been another episode of Balls and Bros. I'm David. This is Jacob. Thank you again for watching.